In this episode, we have a look at the Audio-Technica 2005 USB microphone, which is a dynamic microphone, which is really a great choice for voiceover, narration, screencast narration, things of that nature. Let's have a look and a listen. If you are on a tight budget and you need a microphone for voiceover or narration or, say, for example, screencasts, the Audio-Technica AT2005 USB may be a very good choice. It also is almost identical to the Audio-Technica ATR2100. So as far as I can tell, the only difference really is the color, the pop shield or grill up here at the top, and the switch, according to some people, is slightly different on the two models. Other than that, evidently identical. Now, this mic has been very popular amongst the podcasting crowd, but I think it has a place as well for those that are making film, again, as a voiceover mic, or if you're doing educational type pieces where you're doing a screencast, also possibly a very good option for you. Now, I purchased mine recently from Amazon for $50 US. It ranges in price. I've watched it over time for a little bit. It ranges kind of between, it seems, $45 and $70 US. In any case, for a mic that sounds really pretty good, for those certain types of applications, this is a pretty reasonable price. One thing that makes this mic very unique is the fact that it can connect in a couple different ways, or you can record with it in a couple different ways. One, via USB directly into your computer. So if you're recording a screencast, for example, this would be recorded along with the system audio when you're doing the screencast, and it's automatically there and synced up and ready to go. If, on the other hand, at some point in the future you want to potentially increase the quality of the audio that you're capturing with this mic just a little bit, then you can connect it via XLR to any sort of recorder or microphone preamplifier that has XLR inputs. Now, both the Audio-Technica AT2005 and the ATR2100 are both dynamic cardioid mics. Dynamic means is the design of the mic. It does not require phantom power. And dynamic mics require you to get up pretty close to the mic for it to pick up a signal because, again, of its design, it's not powered, so you have to get up pretty close to really get a good, strong signal. So it's probably not obviously the right choice for when you're trying to hide the mic when you're filming, but it is a really good choice, again, for voiceover, potentially for, if you're doing interviews on the floor of a convention, could be a good option for you there as well, but you do have to get up pretty close on the mic. That also helps to manage some of the room reverb or echo that you may get. And again, because many of us are recording in our homes, in acoustically untreated spaces, this really kind of makes things a little bit easier to manage that way. So really does a nice job at managing and eliminating a lot of that reverb and echo. In terms of build quality, the mic itself seems very good. It's an all-metal body and grill with plastic switches. The stand and clip are not as impressive, though not unexpectedly at this price. The stand and clip both have plastic threads, which means you have to be very careful when attaching them so you don't strip the threads. The stand is not height adjustable and sits pretty low, so I don't find it all that useful except in a real pinch or maybe if I'm traveling super light. If you attach the clip to most music stands with metal threads, you have to be especially careful that you don't strip those threads. The mic also comes with a standard mini USB cable and a short 10-foot, 3-meter XLR cable that's folded in a way that would make most audio engineers cringe. It does not appear to have the highest quality connectors, though they are metal and they seem to work fine in my testing. And finally, it also comes with a padded pleather zipper pouch. That's pretty impressive. Usually you don't get something like this unless you spend at least $100. But the big question is, how does it sound? This entire episode was recorded with the Audio-Technica 2005 so that you can judge for yourself. I have not done any processing on the audio except to loudness normalize it. So that's essentially just to bring the levels up. Now let's give you a little example comparing a recording done via USB and done via XLR into the Tascam DR60D Mark II recorder. All right, this is a quick test here to see the difference between recording using the USB connector on the Audio-Technica AT2005. All right, this is a quick test here to see the difference between recording using the USB connector on the Audio-Technica AT2005. In my previous tests, my impression was that the XLR recording sounded better to me personally, and it's going to depend on what recorder you use and what preamp you use. In my previous tests, my impression was that the XLR recording sounded better to me personally, and it's going to depend on what recorder you use and what preamp you use. What I found in these recordings, it sounds a little better recorded via the XLR connector if you have a decent high quality preamp or recorder or audio interface, whatever you're using. though that preamp really has to have a good bit of gain to get a good strong signal because it is a dynamic mic. On my Focusrite Sapphire Pro 24 interface, which is a decent mid-range audio interface, I had to record at a level of 9 out of 10, which left just enough headroom for laughs or louder passages, and then in post had to loudness normalize. And depending on your recorder or audio interface, you might get a slightly lower noise floor when recording via XLR. The USB recording sounds a little brighter to me in a not so pleasant way. Like most mics, this mic has a proximity effect, which means that as you get really close up on the mic, it picks up more bass frequency. This is both good and bad. You can manage your sound by using your mic technique, how close or how far away you get from the microphone. But it also means you have to develop some mic technique. So you have to be really cognizant of where you're sitting in relation to the mic, and you can't move too much without affecting the sound. But again, that's not unique to this mic. That's pretty much any mic that you work with. Also, like most other mics, you will experience plosives when working with the mic in really close. I found that I needed a pop filter. That's what this is here. And plosives are the noise that you get when you say the letter P or B, sometimes T. Anything that has that kind of little rush of air that comes out of your mouth as you say it. And a pop filter like this seems to do a nice job. You could also go with a foam wind cover. I don't find those work quite as well as these, but they're a little less expensive as well. These actually are fairly reasonably priced. You can get one for between $10 and $15 on Amazon, and I'll go ahead and put the link for this particular one I got down below. Now on the downside, using the stand that comes with it, you can't really attach this type of pop filter, so you would be kind of limited to a foam wind cover. To get this mic sounding its best, I would do some post-processing. I would apply a little compression to tame the loudest peaks, DS to get rid of some of the sibilance, again, because my voice has so much sibilance in it, and then loudness normalize. It'll still sound okay if you don't do all this, but definitely better if you do. At the very least, you're probably going to want to loudness normalize just so you get the kind of the strongest upfront type of sound from this microphone. So there it is, the Audio-Technica AT2005 USB. Great microphone, I think, for the price. I don't want to misrepresent actually here. I want to say something about that, about gear. We've reviewed a lot of gear on the channel here, and to be honest, a lot of it, probably 70% of it falls into the cheap or inexpensive realm. And I'm not trying to suggest that cheap gear is the answer to everything. There's definitely a place and a time for it. And what I'm trying to illustrate really is that your skills are probably one of the most important things, and you can use inexpensive gear if your skills are sharp. So I think this is one example. This is a great microphone to learn audio with. You can learn a lot very quickly with it. It's decent, again, very decent quality for the price. Is it the most amazing microphone out there? Absolutely not. It is a little bit on the bright side for my personal tastes. Depends on the person's voice who you're recording, so that's going to differ from person to person, but the build quality is okay. Again, like I said, the mic itself is pretty good build quality. Everything else that comes with it is kind of iffy, but I think it will serve you decently if you take good care of it. And if you use it to improve your skills, I think it's a fantastic option. If you have any questions about this mic, go ahead and leave those down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do that. And we'll be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk with you soon.